Hello everybody, and welcome to the second Lootbox Lyfe devlog. It's been a while since the last one, I think 7 months, which is not great. But throughout those 7 months I've been working on the game itself, and it turned out really great with that extra time that I didn't spend making videos. So I guess there was a bit of a compromise there, but I think the game turned out great. A lot of people seem to agree with that, because it's got a 100% positive review score on Steam. Which is amazing. I did not expect that at all. When you play your game so much for testing, you end up thinking it's trash. But I'm glad people don't think so, which is great, because I spent a lot of time in this game. And yeah, but I don't want to spend 7 months between devlogs again, and given that I have a lot of updates planned and stuff like that, that won't happen, because updates are less strenuous than making videos about the base game itself, because a lot of stuff changes when you make videos about the game, about the updates. It's mostly features, bug fixes, quality of life changes, stuff like that. So it's a lot easier to make stuff about that in terms of videos, and I think it'll also turn out a bit more interesting, and the quality of the stuff will also be better. So hopefully that's interesting, and I'm planning to create a lot of updates throughout the post-release development cycle of Lootbox Lyfe, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, so the game came out a month ago. It's the 29th of March today, and the game came out on the 28th of February, so exactly a month and a day. And yeah, a lot of people have been playing it. It's been great. A lot of people liked it, as I mentioned earlier, and I'm really happy about that, and I hope to increase the amount of people that play it with these new updates, and I hope that people who are already playing it enjoy that, because it's a lot of quality of life, a lot of extra content, and so no matter whether you've played it or not, I think you will enjoy the stuff that is added. And talking about the people who have played the game, I have a Discord server that I created for the game, where you can discuss about it in general, whether you're a speedrunner or just like asking for tips and stuff like that. So if you want to join it, just follow the link I have on the video right now. If you type that link in, you should be able to join it, and we have a lot of people in there as well already, and everybody's really nice. We've got a lot of speedrunners. That's probably the biggest subsection of the community. And speaking of speedrunners, they're kind of insane. Before releasing the game, I think I beat it in 39 minutes. That was my world record. Well, my PB, sorry. I guess the world record as well, because nobody else played it before that. But yeah, the world record is now around 11 minutes, so quite a lot faster, partly because of bugs that I didn't fix. But I think those bugs are very interesting for the speedrun. And there's a lot of categories, so if you're not really into exploiting bugs or whatever, there's a lot of no glitch categories, which are really interesting with the different modes that I added. So I have a free roam mode, which is what you're seeing right now in the gameplay. What that makes you do is start off the game with all of the abilities unlocked, and you're supposed to go around and get all the scrolls, which is where you get the abilities. So it's a bit more freeform, in that you can get every scroll or every ability module, I guess you could say, without the ability itself, because you already have it unlocked. You can get them in any order you want, so that makes the speedrunning route really interesting, because it changes all the time. And yeah, it's just really interesting stuff like that. There's also various difficulty modes, so if you're into doing really tough stuff, you can do that as well. Some people have tried their hand at it, and it's kind of crazy. Some people have also used it as a way to practice any percent, which is really interesting. But yeah, so if you're a speedrunner, this game is great for you. But if you're not a speedrunner, you can also ask for help, talk to people, anything really. You can talk about lore, which is very not sparse, but it's pretty hidden. So I think having somebody else to talk about that with would be really helpful. So if you're interested in that, make sure to join it. I'll put the link up here again in case my description has intrigued you. So make sure to do that. And I want to dedicate a large part of this video to talking about future features. And I guess I'll start that off by explaining what has been added so far. And so at release, the game didn't have a speedrun mode. That is, no dedicated like skipping cutscenes automatically and stuff like that. But since then it does have that, so it skips all cutscenes, has the timer at all times, which previously, without the mode, it would have it only in the menu, and so it's really easy to see that. And it also, the game didn't launch with free roam mode, which, as I mentioned before, starts you off with all abilities. So I plan on adding more modes like that because I think they make the game really fresh for those that have already played it, and it makes it more interesting just for future playthroughs, whether you've played the game yet or not. And maybe you don't like how the game plays by default, and you think, oh, might as well make my money's worth and play it this interesting way, and maybe that ends up making the game worth it for you. So I think adding different modes like that is really interesting, and I want to do that more. So I think in the future I want to have a special menu before you start the game where you can check different features. So for example, maybe you play the whole game super zoomed in and you want an added challenge like that, or maybe the complete opposite, very zoomed out, or maybe I don't know, maybe the dash, when you dash it sends you in the opposite direction, stuff like that. Really arbitrary and random difficulty options, but it might make it interesting for speedrunners or for people that are just interested in making quirky playthroughs. So apart from those features, I also made a lot of bug fixes, because as you can imagine, when you release a game, it doesn't ship in perfect state, so did a lot of that. Some game-breaking stuff was found within a couple of days of the game releasing, but luckily it's fixed now. It wasn't very common anyways, but you know, better safe than not. That's not the saying, but I guess it still applies. I also added a lot of achievements. I think I've added 4 so far, and I'm planning on adding more in the future. General optimization stuff was also fixed, and carrying on, I want to do similar stuff. So for the future 1.1 patch, so far I've had a 1.0.1, 1.0.2 patch. So for 1.1, which is a bigger patch, I'm gonna add more keyboard layouts. You can already do key binding in a file in the game's directory, but in case you don't really feel like doing that, there's a bunch of default keyboard layouts that you can modify however you want. I'm also gonna fix a bunch of bugs that exist that aren't really useful for speedrunning, so they don't make it more interesting and they're not fun. They're just annoying, so I'm gonna fix those. I'm gonna add a lot of NPCs in the future as well. So far there is a couple of NPCs. I don't really want to spoil too much, but they help you get a better ending basically, and I want to have them play a bit of a bigger part. So they will appear in the base, which is the central hub of the game, and I want them to be able to talk to you and stuff like that. And yeah, and I also want to add different NPCs that are not those, so watch out for that, because I think it's going to be really cool. And in the 1.1 update, I'm also thinking of adding, well, I'm not thinking, I know I'm going to add, I just haven't implemented it yet, but I'm going to have a little quest line that gets you a new ability, which I'm not going to reveal yet, but it's really cool. And after completing this quest line, which is a bit of a, not a fetch quest, but it's an explore, you have to find different collectibles, and once you find them all, you get the power up, you get the key to a level that gets you the power up. So it's like a mini sub story, if that makes sense. So the quest, I think the quest, which is what I called it originally, was the appropriate terminology, so that's what it is. And I'm gonna add also, I already have added a few in this video. Sorry, I should probably mention what I added. I'm gonna add hats. So in the game, you've got different hats and they give you different powers. So for example, the one that's worn now in the gameplay is a hard hat, and it protects you from rocks falling on your head. And so I want to add more hats. So far I've got between 5 and 10, I can't actually remember. I think it's around 7 hats, and so I have 5 more planned. And in this video you will see that there are 2 that are being shown already. So one of them is the top hat, and that one gives you ridiculous dash speed. So it's a bit game breaking, so you won't be able to get it until you beat the game. But another one is the syringe hat, and so syringes are collectible in the game that let you change your color. And so a lot of people found it a bit difficult to find the last remaining syringes, so it's kind of easy to find a lot of them, but some of them are out of the way, and so a syringe hat that helps you find them in shakes when you're near a syringe was something that people wanted, and so I added it. So that's going to be in the 1.1 update, and there's 3 more that I'm not going to reveal yet because they don't have graphics yet. But for most of them, the programming's already done, and so the functionality is there. And another cool feature or quality of life change that I've added is corner correction. And basically what that does is if you hit a corner and you're almost not hitting it, it makes it as if you didn't hit the corner. And I think the gameplay here shows what it's actually like better than my words, but you get the idea. And yeah, there's a lot of other stuff that I added, like I fixed the resolution of the game. It was a bit wonky. I'm considering adding a cameo for another Metroidvania, which is really cool. And yeah, other stuff like that. So I think once it comes out, I'll probably make another video, and you can look forward to that. And if you haven't already, I'd recommend buying the game. I heard it's pretty good, you know. But yeah, get it on Steam. I have the link in the description, and it's really cheap. It's only $4.99. And I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you want to watch more of this stuff, make sure to subscribe and like the video because it helps with the YouTube algorithm, and I hope everything goes well. So see you next time.